and welcome to the Sportscast, February 7, 2019. Welcome to the first fully episode on the Sportscast channels. Please hit the subscribe button, follow us on Twitter, and also share this to all your friends. And if you're in iTunes, please leave a rating and a review. It will help us out tremendously. National Signing Day 2019 has come to a close. It's a day that a high school senior can sign a binding national letter of intent with his school. And to join us to recap what happened today, Mr. Tyler Turner, welcome to the Sportscast.
What up, dude? How you doing?
Tyler, tell us what you think about today's National Signing Day.
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
Good.
My bad.
What do you want to know?
Who were the surprises? Who do you think had the best day?
Well, because, it's obviously there's two signing days. There's the early signing and then the regular. This year, I think it was like 76% signed during the early signing. So it was a very small field. There's only 25% of the prospects left. I think it was only like 15% of the blue chip prospects that were left. So it was, it was one of those things where you had the guys who didn't sign were just getting recruited like crazy. So, so who had, like, some people that had great, so you had some teams that had really good signing days, and you had other teams that just didn't have really do anything on signing day, but still had very good recruiting period.
Like Tennessee.
Oregon. No, I'm talking about, okay, I'm going to get there. But anyway, but I said you had, no, that's not what I said. Because I said some teams had extremely good, signing, recruiting period, meaning the whole recruiting period 2019, like Oregon number 7, first in the Pac-12, but their actual signing day, they only had one commitment. That was Christian Williams, a three-star from Tennessee, defensive tackle. But Oregon obviously had a great recruiting period. Michigan was number 8, and they had a great recruiting period. They had nobody. They didn't sign anybody on the late signing period. Another one was Oklahoma. Oklahoma's number 6. They didn't sign anyone. So do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. There were some teams that just had everyone locked up in the early signing period, so they really had uneventful second signing day. Teams that were good, teams that had really good signing days that had a lot of room to make up, had spots to fill, was Tennessee. Tennessee, I think, was about 16th when the day started, and I think they finished. Did they finish 12th? I think they finished 12th. But the two thing was they got 5-star Darnell Wright, offensive tackle from West Virginia, and then they got 4-star linebacker Henry Toto from De La Salle, California. So they had a very good day. Florida flipped Chris Bogle from Alabama, 4-star outside linebacker. They also signed Kier Elam, 4-star top 50 cornerback. So they had a good signing day. They moved into the top 10. They were outside of the top 10 pretty much the whole year. So a good signing day for them. LSU finished pretty strong to finish in the top 5. They signed, I forgot his first name. It's Alexander, from 4-star wide receiver. Then they had another guy who was like a 3-star corner. He's not super huge, but who else did they get? Maybe. That's all. They actually lost out in a heated battle for 4-star defensive tackle Ishmael Sopser. He went to Alabama over LSU.
Yeah, which that secured Alabama the nation's number 1 recruiting class for the 8th time in 9 years.
They did get that. Sopser didn't secure it. They had it anyway.
Okay.
Actually, Alabama, if you just want to judge Alabama by yesterday, Alabama actually did have a great day. They had Chris Bogle flip from them. They had Christian Williams, 4-star corner. He flipped to Miami. And they also were considered the longtime favorite for Henry Toto, who ended up going to Tennessee. So actually, Alabama, for just the day in particular, probably, other than Ishmael Sopser, did not have an amazing day, but they did so well in the early signing period it didn't matter.
Speaking about the Gators, They shot up to number 9 in the 247 Sports composite team recruiting rankings as they continue to pad what is arguably the best back 8 group haul in the nation. One of the greatest country's top pass rushers is Chris Bogle, which you mentioned, flipped from Alabama to the Gators. You think the Gators are looking good?
Yeah, I mean, they have a good class. Dan Mullins is a very good coach. I heard they have a pretty good class to start 2020. So yeah, they're doing pretty good. The Gators they're getting some people. Their talent level is getting back to where it used to be.
Oregon Ducks got a 3-star quarterback named Cale Millen. What have you heard about him?
No, they didn't. He's been there forever.
Wait, hold on. What year is this article? No, 43 minutes ago.
Carol, well, I mean, are you just mentioning like random recruits now, or what?
No, I've actually got an article from 247 Sports, and they're mentioning Cale Millen, but apparently this is old news.
Yeah, acted like you just got him. No, they got he committed in June.
Oh.
So he signed in December. I'm like, yeah, he's great. He's a very good quarterback. He has a lot of upside. Yeah, but I mean, I could talk about Cale Millen.
Yeah, I mean, do you think he's could be a great backup or?
Do I think what?
Do you think he'll be a great backup to Herbert?
He won't. No, Tyler Shuck, 4-star top 150 guy from last year is probably going to be the backup. Millen will be probably redshirt. He'll probably be the third string guy. I think he'll give. I personally think Tyler Shuck will still be the starter after Herbert leaves. They signed a really good kid last year. Opening attendee, consensus 4-star, Tyler Shuck from Arizona. So between him and Millen, they have two decent, pretty good guys behind Herbert.
Now back to the top signings of the day. The Bulldogs finished number 2 after taking the top spot a cycle ago and made it interesting again this year, highlighted by the day's biggest shock, flipping long-term Auburn 5-star receiver commit George Pickens, who visited Athens the weekend of January 18th and also considered LSU, Miami, and Tennessee down the stretch. Kirby Smart.
Well,
so, what are your thoughts about that?
Oh, it was a kind of a surprise. He was not projected by any. He was probably the biggest surprise of the day because you have a lot of great experts. 247 has one of the best networks out there, and you have Steve Wilfong, who's a national recruiting director. You have Barton Simmons. You have guys on each coast. You have Brian Doan over on the East Coast. You have John Garcia. He's in the Alabama area. You got Greg Biggins out west. You have Brandon Huffman out west. Blair Gula is another good guy out west. You have Alan True. See, they cover it all. Normally, people either the national, especially Wilfong, and then you also get into the regional areas, and they usually know when a guy's going to flip, and you usually there's something called the 247 crystal ball, and they'll say the guy's going to go there. And normally, I think, especially the top experts, they tend to be pretty right. But no one picked it. I mean, it was kind of a shocker. So it was a big pickup by Georgia, and Georgia's. Their run is pretty impressive on the recruiting trail. They had by far the best class in 2018. They ran away with the recruiting championship. They made it a lot closer with Alabama. It's now within 10 points difference in the 247 composite.
Which you think is close?
What'd you say?
Which you think that's close?
Yeah, I mean, if you get within 10 points of a team, talent-wise in the composite, I would say the differences aren't great. They're not drastic. So, and that's actually another thing to remark on. So you have Alabama, who has 317 points on the composite, and then you have like a 9-point difference between them and Georgia. The difference between number 2 Georgia and number 3 Texas is 21 points.
Wow.
That's pretty significant. And to just really understand the picture to that, the difference between number 3 Texas and number 13 Penn State is 17 points.
Wow.
So the number 13 team in Penn State, it actually was, per the recruiting rankings, was closer in talent with third-rated Texas than third-rated Texas was with second-rated Georgia.
Now, Tyler.
So,
yeah.
Alabama, Georgia ran away with the best classes by far in this year's recruiting.
Speaking about recruiting, I know you promised us a couple episodes back you'll explain the recruiting process. What goes behind the scenes? What's the timeline, the time frame? What do these schools do to get these players? It's not that easy, I heard.
Oh, man. Did I say I was going to explain this?
Yeah, I mean, you can have a whole podcast next week if you want, but...
Yeah, we could do it. Yeah, that would probably take a whole podcast. There is just, you have visiting them in camps, go watch them in satellite camps, like Rival Camp, and 247 has a camp, and the opening, and I don't know if coaches can be at the opening, but they're always at these camps, and then you have unofficial visits. Like, the crazy thing is, back in the day, I think mostly it was dependent upon an official visit. An official visit means the school pays for everything. They pay for your airfare, your hotel, they pay for your time on campus. You don't have to pay for anything. Unofficial visit, you have to pay for everything. You have to pay for your travel. You have to pay for your hotel accommodations. Well, now you have kids that will take 2, 3, 4 unofficial visits before ever taking an official visit.
Wow.
And and then it's just so you just have to, the unofficials, visiting kids at camp, constant calling. I believe assistant, don't quote me on that. I think assistant coaches can go home into the home frequently to visit recruits. Now, I'm pretty sure that the head coach can only go into the home one time. Wow. So you can only go one time. And then there's dead periods where you cannot visit recruits.
How about phone calls?
There's certain periods. Yeah, you can phone call all the time. You can do that all the time.
Personal phone.
And according to, like, Oregon staff is considered the most ferocious recruiters, maybe actually in the whole country.
Of course.
According to, no, I'm not saying this. I'm like, this is according to the recruiting guys. Greg Biggins says it. Justin Hopkins, ScoopDuck.com says it. It's been still Steve Wilfon, National Recruiting Director, is Oregon is just at a very, they like go to every camp. They go to all house every time they can. I mean, they literally like stole the one kid who ended up getting an offer by Alabama the day of the signing day. And he would have been, he's an Alabama kid. He's from, whatever, I can't remember the town, but something Fork, Alabama. I mean, he would have gone to Alabama. But Oregon was like at his house every day. and Alabama offered him, but the kid was just like, dude, they showed me so much love. I just was like, no, I'm going to Oregon. They took a kid right in Alabama's backyard because they literally were like, I mean, they gave him a lot of love. They took Micah Pittman away from Florida. He was a long time. His mom's a Florida alum. His mom lived in Florida. He was like, I remember when they did a crystal ball. Florida had like every crystal ball. Like everyone thought. He wasn't even really considering Oregon. He decided to take an unofficial visit. And they just went crazy for him. We're like at his house all the time, like hitting him up, going to see him practice. And all of a sudden he's like, screw that. And I remember there was all of a sudden Justin Hopkins, like last summer, was like, Micah Pittman, I think, is going to go to Oregon. And everyone's like, what? We for sure thought he was going to Florida. And then all of a sudden, Greg Biggins says, oh, he's going to going to Oregon. And then everyone all of a sudden like he's going to Oregon. And lo and behold, he does this huge commitment video that was more like a movie. He went to Oregon. Ask Ryan Christ about that. I mean, he was a guy who most of the time everyone thought was going to Florida, but Oregon basically just hustled like crazy and stole him away, basically. And so that was kind of their modus operandi. You have other schools that I think just recruit themselves. I mean, I'm sure they have great recruiters and awesome recruiters on staff, but I mean, Alabama's just a beast. Clemson's a beast. Georgia's a beast. Ohio State's it's just tough. Those places are just tough. There's so much history. They're blue bloods. I mean, you see the place and the trophies, and kids just get mesmerized. So they're just tough to beat. But other people, they have to hustle super hard in order to get players. In Oregon, not as long. They had that run under Chip Kelly, which gave them a brand, and they have Nike, and they have that thing going for them. But they have to get out, because Oregon, that's not a hotbed. Like, there's hardly anyone there. If you get one or two good players in Oregon a year, you're lucky. So yeah.
What do you think comes down to these kids' decision? Do you think it's tradition? My dad went to this school, my dad liked this school, or I've always dreamed about going to this school. What do you think it really comes down to?
Oh, it's totally different for a kid. One kid, it might be his dad's alma mater. Another kid might be the team that showed him the most love. He doesn't care about if his dad went to. I mean, there's several kids I can mention that their dad was an alum of. I know a guy, two different kids that their dads were Oregon Duck alum. The one went to Washington, the other went to UCLA. And that goes for like all over the country. There's kids that their dad went to Miami, but they got a ton of love by Alabama, so they went to Alabama. Patrick Surtain, I forgot where his dad went, but I know he goes to Alabama. So it really is. It really is dependent upon the kid. One kid, it will be because of the alma mater. Another kid will because of my kids ran in the room. And then another kid will be because he just loved. Another kid will be because it was his team growing up, his dream school. Another kid will be, I don't know, because it's near his family. Another one will be proximity. It depends. It's totally different. I've heard there'll be like 6 different kids, and I mean, like Brew McCoy, who ended up at Texas. His parents, his whole family was like USC alums, and that's why I originally went to USC. But they decided that Texas is a better place. So you just never know. Just because your kid's an alum, just because your dad played for USC, doesn't necessarily mean his kid's going to go to USC. His kid might decide to go to UCLA. Well, I mean, Cale Millen. Cale Millen's dad, Hugh Millen, was an All-American at Washington. Really? All-American. Yeah, he speaks on a weekly Huskies show. His kid went to the bitter rival.
Wow.
So, I mean, yeah, I mean, they still are mad. Like, if you go to the Husky boards, they still can't believe that his kid went to Oregon. Yeah.
What do you think? You think some teams have it easier than others? Let's just say Alabama. You think, oh, well, Alabama's a championship winning school. Easy pick if they're interested.
No, because there's, like I said, once again, it goes back to subjective, meaning what if a kid really wants to play right away? What if a kid's number one want is to play as a true freshman? Would Alabama be the best choice?
No, you're probably in the bench for a year at least.
I mean, yeah. Well, actually, that is basically because Kayvon Thibodeau, number 2 player in the country, went to he was between Alabama and Oregon, and he picked Oregon. When it came down to it, he kind of explained the reason. A statement that really resonated with him when he talked to Nick Saban was Nick Saban said, "Well, there's a pretty good chance you'll redshirt as a freshman, and he might take you a year, maybe even 2 years, to really play because of just the talent we have on the team." And he's like, "Screw that! I want to play right away." And Oregon's like, "Dude, if you come in, you'll be starting day one." And he probably will. I mean, honestly, he probably will. They're not just talking crap to him. I don't think there's anyone quite as good as him for getting after the passer. He'll definitely be a starter in pass rush situations. So that was kind of the main thing that gave Oregon the victory for Kayvon Thibodeau. And there's other schools, the same thing. It's like they see that they have 5 stars. Now, some kids don't care. Now, some kids are like, I'm a 5-star. I'm going to start right away. You have like Trey Sanders, who picked Alabama. He's like, I'm going to come in. I'm going to be a Heisman Trophy winner as a freshman. I don't think he's going to be. Najee Harris is there. I think he's going to be second string. He might think he's going to win the Heisman right away, but he thinks he's going to. He's confident. So it's about them. I'm thinking, I'm going to go in and play right away. He might play some. I don't think he's going to be the main guy right away.
Let's go back to the recap. Let's go with Ole Miss. Ole Miss, they got the 5-star running back Jerry Ely. They beat them out from Clemson and Alabama. And they also stole the country's top-ranked JUCO linebacker Lakey Henry away from Arkansas.
Yep.
Jonathan Mingo, despite advances from others, and beat Auburn for defensive tackle Lamarius Cox. The Rebels are ranked number 22 in the 247 Sports Composite rankings. You think Ole Miss had a good day?
Yeah, Ole Miss, like I said, going back to the teams that had a good day. Ole Miss coming back in Jerron Ely, who actually might go play professional baseball. He's really good. He's going to be a first-round draft pick. He's probably better than Kyler, actually. And so there's a chance he might go play baseball. And then another guy is, that's another thing, just to touch on, there's a pretty good chance Kyler Murray, I saw an interview on him, there's a pretty good chance Kyler Murray might play baseball over football. Yeah, I think he's given football a chance, but anyways,
he can still flip.
I'm going to go back to, I think it's an easier sports play. I mean, you can play it for 10 years, make $5 million a year, and it's just not near as hard on your body. I would play baseball.
Because he's probably hearing from the scouts saying, look, you're not going to play quarterback.
Yeah, and well, not only that, that for one, and another thing is it's just easier on your body. It's just, you can play it, and it's one of the most popular sports. It's top 4. It's not as popular as football, but still popular. You can, one of the most profitable sports. You can play for longer. It's a financial better move in the long run. It's better for your body in the long run. And especially me now, who knows what I've done when I was that age and necessarily think correctly. But I would pick baseball. But anyway, going back to what I said, Ole Miss had a good day. Tennessee had a good day. Well, we've talked about, Florida and all that. Okay, we talked about good days. I want to talk about a couple bad days.
Sure, go ahead.
Talk about some bad days. Florida State did not have, Florida State, they've only had one class in 15 years outside the top 15. They're currently number, I believe, don't quote me, I believe they're 16. And it's not just that, they haven't signed one quarterback in 2 years. Not one prep quarterback. That's a problem. That if the one position you can't miss on is quarterback. They've missed 2 years in a row. And I know because obviously I follow them a little bit because of the old coach being Oregon's coach. And not to boot, their second highest rated commit, Nick Cross, didn't sign. He still hasn't signed. He's still deciding between Maryland, Penn State, and Florida State. If they lose him, I believe Florida State might stay in the top 20. They might not. So not a good day for them. That's number one. And the second team not having a good day is USC. USC has never signed a class outside the top 15. They currently sit at number 18. Not only that, if they lose 4-star Puka Nacua, and guess who it's between? He's currently committed to USC. USC is considered to be like in 4th or 5th position. So he's probably not going to USC. USC is probably going to lose him. USC is going to, for the first time in the history of recruiting rankings, finish outside the top 20. That's how bad their year has been. That's a bad year by USC. Some teams that's good. For USC, that's bad.
That's good for Oregon, though.
Yeah, good. Well, yeah, Oregon's doing really well because USC's doing that.
When's the last state to flip?
Oh, you can go up till signing. Till fall camp, I believe.
That's what I thought. Like you said, okay.
But there's only like 3 guys. There's only like a couple guys out there not signed. There's only 2 guys right now that are blue chippers that aren't signed. Nick Cross, safety, 4-star safety from Maryland, top 100 player, and 4-star Puka Nacua. Nakua's committed to USC. Nick Cross is committed to Florida State. I think Nick Cross, it's like between Florida State, Penn State, Maryland, I think it literally is a tie. Like, he could go to any of the three. Like, who knows where he goes.
And also, Ohio State beat USC.
Yeah, well, hold on. I'm not done with this. Puka Nacua is like USC's. He's not probably going to USC. He's going to Washington or Oregon.
Ooh.
It was thought he was. Yeah, I know. Believe me, I'm really on top of this one. It was thought he had Washington only signed one receiver. He took a official visit there. He had a great time. People were saying Washington was in a good place. He then visited UCLA and he visited Oregon. People were like, yeah, he liked Oregon. He had a good time there. But because Washington just seems like a good place, he signs tomorrow. A couple crystal balls came in for Washington. Washington was feeling pretty good. Oregon was kind of like, well, we did a good job with it. Then all of a sudden the night before he said he's not signing.
Wow.
And everyone's like, whoa, why is he not signing? And then some stuff started coming out that he was having a lot of contact with Justin Herbert, Marcus Arroyo, the OC for Oregon, and has also thought that he might be waiting to see, because Oregon doesn't have a wide receiver coach, who Oregon hires as a wide receiver coach. So all of that kind of tilted a little back to Oregon.
So Herbert's involved with these recruiting as well?
Yeah, I guess. It's crazy, right?
He's involved.
He literally said, it's really quoted that he said that Justin Herbert's recruiting him.
He's a star.
So as of right now, today, he's probably going to be deciding tomorrow or early next week, and I would say it's about 60% Oregon, 40 Washington. The fact he waited, it just seems like that works, and most people are kind of under the assumption that it's probably working a little more in Oregon's favor, because he could be waiting to see what happens with the Oregon wide receiver. And yeah, it just seems like if he would have gone to Washington, he just would have done it on signing day.
You're crossing your fingers, aren't you?
Yeah, he's great. I mean, he's terrific. I think he's the best. We signed 4 good wide receivers, but I think Puka's the best. I think he's tremendous. He's long. He's great, have great moves, great ball skills. He's a very good player. Yeah, I'd love to have him.
And
he'd play day one, I think.
And more news from USC. Ohio State beat USC for our offensive line, Enoch Mahi out of Hawaii.
Yep. Long time USC lean.
Yeah.
4-star. USC struggled on the line. They needed to get a good offensive lineman. They had missed on Sean Ryan. He went to UCLA. They missed on Jonah Chanua. He went to Oregon. Now they missed on Enoch. So, man, USC had a bad year, dude. You have to understand, it really was. It's just a bad year on the field. They got Cliff Kingsbury. He left after a couple weeks. A worst year recruiting in ever. And UCLA had a horrible year recruiting.
Well, their basketball school.
UCLA finished 43rd. It was the lowest ranking for UCLA in the recruiting era, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
You know that Russell Westbrook went to UCLA?
Yeah, I know that. Yep. So
speaking about Ohio State, they were in number 3 this year. What'd you think about their performance?
They were number 3. No, they weren't.
For a recruiting class.
Ohio State. No, they weren't. They're number 14.
Oh, my bad. Wrong paragraph. Maryland, the Terrapins landed the top available quarterback heading into the day in 4-star quarterback Lance Legendre.
That's a totally different subject. What happened to Ohio State?
Ohio State, wrong paragraph. I lost my notes, but let's look into Maryland. They signed a good quarterback.
Wait, I was going to comment on it.
Okay, well, go ahead, Ohio State. How did Ohio State do this
year?
Well,
they finished. Okay. Well, you're like, how did Ohio State do? They finished 3rd. I'm like, no, they didn't. But speaking of Ohio State's class, Ohio State signed the 14th ranked class. That's the lowest ranked class by Ohio State, I think, in 10 years.
Wow.
But Ohio State only signed 16 guys. Their average recruit ranking per recruit was still in the top 10. So they didn't sign a big class. I think it's partly to do with the coaching change, and because they did, I don't think they had a ton of room because they had signed a couple big classes in a row. But they signed, I would not, for instance, this really does matter. They signed 16 guys, so that did affect the ranking. If they would have signed 22, they would have had a top 10 class with that average. So they had they signed pretty good guys. It just was a small class. But comparably, USC signed 26 guys. USC signed a very big class and still only finished 18. Their average per recruit rating was 88, which is a 3-star. So USC had a bad class because not only was the ranking lower, but they actually signed a lot of guys and had low ranking average per recruit. Ohio State had a lower ranking than normal, but part of that was because they signed such few guys. Yeah, that does come into play. If you only sign 12 guys, you're going to not have as high a ranking, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
ready to get back to Maryland?
Oregon. Yeah, Maryland didn't. I mean, Maryland had a good, okay. I'll briefly touch on Maryland. Maryland had a good day. They signed the quarterback. I think they got someone else, but they didn't. They did. Overall, Maryland didn't have a very good class.
They got linebacker Cortez Andrew and JUCO offensive lineman Paris Heath.
Yeah, I mean, they got a couple guys, but they didn't have a very good class. But it was Loxley came in, and he had a short time to get a class. So, tough situation to walk into.
The Gamecocks got their top 2 remaining targets and top 247 defensive tackle Jack Hayes Sorrells and defensive back Jamie Robinson, and closed with nation's number 19 class.
Yeah, and they might go up actually a couple because Florida State loses that kid in USC. So actually, it's a pretty good class pretty solid class by South Carolina. The problem, there's a problem. South Carolina, 17th ranked class. It's 19th right now. They'll probably finish about 18th. Good class. Problem, they're in the SEC. You have someone like, 22nd ranked class for Ole Miss. Not a bad class. Problem, they're in the SEC. You have Mississippi State, I think they have the 23rd ranked class. Problem is they're in the SEC. Tennessee, 13th ranked class. Tremendous. 270 composite. Problem is they're in the SEC. See what I'm saying? Because you have number 1, Alabama. You have number 2, Georgia. You have number 5, LSU. You have number 4, Texas A&M. So it just makes it so hard because when you're competing against guys that are getting top 5 classes, even if you're getting top 10, top 15, you're competing against people that get better classes. Whereas in the Pac-12, Oregon is the number 7 class. Not one other Pac-12 school is in the top 15.
Miami.
Not one other.
Beat out LSU for top 247 defensive back Christian Williams. Another very impressive down-the-stretch recruiting win.
I mean, yeah, it was a good win, but at the end of the day, Miami finished with the 28th ranked class.
What do you think about Miami so far? You think they're on a good track?
They had a couple good transfers to come in. Bubba Bolden from USC, former 4-star. They had, I think, a guy that was a 3 or 4-star from Virginia Tech come in. They had Tate Martell, 4-star from Ohio State. They might have had another. They've had some good transfers. Jeff Thomas, a big-time player, really good player. Top 100, former 4-star. He came back. He left Miami, and he actually came back. So, Miami did some good things. They did good things as far as transfers. They didn't have a good class. Were able to get a couple guys in the end. They got Christian Williams, a 4-star from Alabama. They flipped him. But as a whole, they didn't have a great class. Do I think Diaz has some energy? Do I think he'll have a pretty good, probably, recruiting class in 2020? Yeah, I do. I think he's a pretty good recruiter. I think he'll get some energy back there. But as far as next year, I think they're gonna probably be a year or two away from really doing anything in the ACC.
Yeah, I mean, just the beginning. I think they had a fairly good start, obviously, but you can't do much for the short with a very short time frame. You know, like he just got hired in December, so there's so much going on.
He did the best he could.
Yeah, and of course he got Danny Enos from Alabama, so he got some good hirings to lay down the foundation. So, but it's going to take a couple years. We say 5 years here at the Sportscast, so we'll see.
5 years. Oh, 5 years, you'll be fired if he doesn't get.
Yeah, I know. You got to flip things pretty quick now. Anything else before we leave recruiting to the side?
No, it was fun. I do it as a hobby. Probably do it more than a hobby. I literally probably spend 2-3 hours a day on recruiting sites. It's pretty bad. I actually am going to cut it out now.
You should work in recruitment somewhere.
Well, I did actually get a job. I got offered for this one service, but I didn't end up doing it because it was like commission. But I think, I thought about applying for like Rivals or 247 Sports. Yeah, I probably should. Give me a recommendation.
I will do it. Yeah, definitely send in some tapes and all that stuff. But it's definitely my first full year of experiencing recruitment, how important it is. Hopefully we'll have another episode in the next couple of weeks, talk about recruitment, what goes behind the scenes.
Fun.
And it's a whole
fun.
Yeah, it's a whole department, and maybe.
Yeah, I mean, when you start following recruiting, it makes you like really just so much get into the games even more because you like followed these kids in high school.
Yeah, it's like, I know that guy. That kid was.
I've known him forever. Yeah, I've been doing it for like 2-3 years now, so I know like Oregon Duck roster. I'm like, I remember that kid when we stole him last second from whatever Alabama.
You think Alabama has lost a step with recruitment?
You asked me the same question last year. Dude, they had the number one class this year.
I know, but, I mean, obviously, the gap has been closing in. I mean, has it been closing in?
No, I mean, last year they finished fifth. They didn't have a great year. For them, they had a little bit of an off. I mean, fifth is still amazing. I mean, no, they're getting plenty of talent. They're fine.
Okay.
I don't feel bad for Alabama.
But looking at the rankings, Oregon's in like the mix of all these big teams, and they're definitely looking better.
I mean, Oregon is going to be better for sure, especially in their conference.
Yeah. Anyways, the Super Bowl. What were your thoughts about the game?
If you like defense, it's good. If you don't like defense, it was terrible. It was not the most eventful game, but it was a very good defensive game. I didn't think Jared Goff played a very good game, but there was other guys that defensively, just some guys. Hightower played good. Is it Gilmer? Gilmer is the one corner. He did very, very good. Just in general, it was just a big time defensive game. Yeah, I don't have much more to say than that. Congrats to the Patriots winning their 100th Super Bowl in a row. Just keep on winning those. Like, get to 101. I mean, I think, in my opinion, I don't understand why Tom Brady wouldn't retire now.
Me too.
Like, what? You've won 6 Super Bowls. You're 49 or 50 or whatever age you are. Like, just go. Just like it's good.
I mean, what else
like,
to
if
prove?
You keep on playing, it makes,
Would you retire, winning a championship?
Yeah. What's going to end up happening, I mean, I don't think he's going to retire. He's going to end up having to retire because of an injury. And he's going to look back at his career and be like, yeah, I probably should have left after I won that one Super Bowl. I shouldn't put that out there, but I'm going to put it out there. I just think this is going to happen. I think he's going to retire because he ends up tearing his knee and he can't play anymore.
That could happen. Which I heard he's playing injured most of the time.
That's what they say. Yeah, he doesn't look like it.
What'd you think about Todd Gurley? Why do you think he didn't play much?
Yeah, that's a good question. Was he injured?
No one knows. No confirmations.
Yeah, he hardly played. And McAvey got his ass whooped by Belichick. I mean, Belichick gave a good old-fashioned butt whooping. But, I think he'll come back. I think he's a good coach.
What did you think about the performance of Edelman?
Good. He's great. He's tremendous. He's one of the best. He's just, between, you've had Edelman, you've had Amendola, you've had Welker. That slot guy's just done business in New England. That's why Kyler Murray gets drafted. If he goes to New England, that could be a situation he has a decently long career as a slot guy. He'd be perfect. If they draft him, that'd be a good place to go. Hello? Hello?
Still there? Oh, I'm sorry. I had to get my door. Someone, my neighbor, came through. So, yeah. So
You're doing a drug deal?
No. It was a lady that she had to. She locked out from her office, and then she wanted me to let her in. So
Are you at your office?
Yeah.
At your house right now.
I'm at my office. At the studio.
How late do you stay at your office?
I usually stay throughout the night. I'm a hustler. I hustle. I work all day, all night.
Like all night. Like what time do you leave?
I usually leave around 7, but times like these, I can stay a little bit longer and close things out. No, but it's okay.
I saw you're hiring someone on Facebook.
I am. I think I found someone already.
Dang it! I was gonna apply.
Well, you have to be local.
I know, it's okay.
Anyways, it was a good Super Bowl. I really thought that the Patriots really closed the deal. I actually heard that they kind of mimicked what the Lions did when they played against the Rams. They stopped the running from the Rams and they stopped the short slots. So they definitely did their homework there.
Wow.
So, hey, you're probably
good job.
Okay. Anyways, we got. You want to predict some NBA predictions?
Let's do it.
Okay. Lakers at the Boston Celtics.
I guess I've not. Oh, that's right. NBA boycotted it.
Oh, that's right. So you probably didn't watch it. Anything.
Well, I'll do. No, that's fine. I'll do a couple of guesses. I'll do Boston. I've not been watching it though.
Yeah, I know. College basketball?
Yeah, it's college basketball.
Okay. Let's go for Cincinnati at Memphis.
Oh my gosh, I don't know how they're doing. Memphis.
Yeah, sure. Iowa at Indiana.
Oh my gosh, I need to. Okay, hold on, dude. Hold on a second.
We can just skip predictions.
Hold on. No, I can do a couple. I'll do a couple. Iowa and Indiana. I'm looking at the records. I've been so invested into college football and recruiting.
That's
great. I'm not watching any other sport. Yeah, I mean, I need to watch some other stuff though. Hold on. I'm going to do a guess here. Iowa and Indiana. I want Iowa to win, but let me look.
It's probably Iowa going to win.
Why is my phone moving slower than old man locked in a chimney? Crickets. Hold on. This is so slow. Why is my internet? Oh, probably the weather. Weather's terrible here, by the way.
It's warm down here. 70 degrees right now. Hate the rub it in.
Today it was like 5 degrees and a blizzard.
That's
snowed like 10 inches, ice. No, it's terrible. Hold on. I'm going to try to give as accurate prediction as I can. I don't like guessing stuff. Iowa versus Indiana. Why are you asking me? Hold on. Oh, no, I guess Iowa is top 20. Because originally I looked at it, I'm like, neither of these teams are even in the top 25. But Iowa and Indiana. Yeah, they are. So I'll go. Just ask me top 25. Don't be asking me non-top 25 teams.
I will.
I guess I'll do Iowa.
Okay.
I really don't know.
San Francisco at Gonzaga.
Oh, Gonzaga. That's easy.
And Houston at UCF.
Oh, Houston's good. Houston's good. Yeah, Houston.
And random question.
Who is Ralph Sampson? Their coach. Who's Houston's coach? Isn't it
Ralph Sampson?
Let's see.
think it
Houston
is.
University basketball coach. It is Kelvin Sampson.
Ralph Sampson.
That's right.
Kelvin Sampson. I meant Kelvin. Ralph Sampson's the ex-NBA guy. Yep, Kelvin Sampson. Yeah, the old Indiana coach.
And random question, which typical team bonding exercise is the most fun? Go-karting or paintballing?
I'm going to go paintballing.
Yeah, I agree. I think paintballing's fun.
Yeah. Go-karting, man. Yeah.
Well, anyways, so between now and the start of the college football season, we can still see some flips, right?
Oh, no. If they're signed, no, you won't.
Okay, so but there'll still be more signings coming up in the next couple of weeks.
There's only 2 guys.
Available? Okay.
No, if you want to stay involved in the college football, you then move on to 2020 for commitments.
Okay, I gotcha.
Now remember, just because you commit does not mean that you stick to your commitment.
No, you can flip like the day before National Signing Day.
Yeah. No.
Or day of.
George Pickens, who was committed to Auburn, was committed there for 2 years and flips on signing day to Georgia. What do you think Auburn felt like? 5-star that had been committed there, Alabama kid, for 2 years, flips on signing day.
Wow.
Christian Williams was committed to Alabama for over a year, flipped on signing day to Miami.
Wow.
So, yeah, that happens.
And history question of the day, do you remember Adam Archuleta?
Yeah. Yep.
Good or bad player?
Good. Yeah. Good. Superstar. No, I don't know superstar. He's a good player. It's St. Louis Rams, baby.
Someone was saying, like, when was the last white cornerback? And like, one guy said, it's Adam Archuleta. No, he was a safety.
Yeah, no, he was that corner. Who said that?
Some other Sportscast member.
He's fired.
Anyways, Tyler, how can people reach you to talk to you about college recruiting?
Tyler Turner, MPLS, what's up?
Nice.
He's up.
Follow the Sportscast for the latest recruitment.
Keep real.
Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe. Hit the review button. And Tyler, I appreciate you coming on to the Sportscast.
I see you, dude.